And we should be live. So once again, just going to set this one up. We're having a look at the later part of the session today, once more coming to the end of the day, talking about what we're seeing over here with AMC and in the broader market as well. So thank you for joining us tonight. This time it's going to be a bit more organized. We've got a few more tabs open, and hopefully the issue with the screen is resolved. So you should be able to see everything that I can, in the sense that the entire screen should be there. I'm just going to get my other device whilst I'm setting up everything as well, getting the background and just making sure that the screen is visible. So yeah, you guys should be coming in right about now. Just going to write in the title, because the way that this seems to work is you go live and then you kind of like edit in the details once you are live. So that's what I'm going to be doing now for the next few moments. But whilst we are here, yeah, there's going to be another one looking at both AMC and the broader market. So if you want to look at AMC, fine, we're here to do that. But if you also want to have a look at the broader market, feel free to do that too. We're here to do all of that sort of stuff in this video. So drop me any questions that you may have, and I'll get back to them in just a moment once I have set up the whole stream in a way that works. And yeah, we are doing this one obviously tonight. I said yesterday it's something that I was 50-50 on, but I came around to the idea, and it is something that we're going to be doing. So I'm going to write in the title, and we're going to call it AMC and the wider markets on Friday on market close. So I'll just write that in right now. So it's been quite a flat day with AMC today. We're seeing gains of only 2%, but it is nice to see those gains. And when we do get into this video a bit more, I'm going to be talking about what we saw in after hours, because if you remember, we were filming for some of after hours yesterday, but not really the whole period, because it did start to decline after that, but still it is worth mentioning. And we do now have those charts up, so if we do continue to film into after hours, we will be able to see it on this chart over here, which is a good improvement. And I also want to have a look at the options for AMC. We have that data up too, so it is something that we might have a look at in just a moment. We'll have a look at that on screen right now. And yeah, these are the options which are expiring today. So we will ask the question is, will this be a big day for options? And when we have a look at that, the data shows options not too bad. Again, a lot of options in at 23. We are currently on, if we go back to that chart, 22.99. So it really could be. It's on an edge whether we will get those 23 options in the money, but that would bring in an extra 23,000 actually, and coming up to 24, that's an extra 31, almost 32k, but I think that is more unlikely. And as far as puts go, come down to 22, we'll get an extra 14.8k in the money, but I think the more bullish side of things is more likely than the bearish. So now I'm just going to add in the thumbnail. Should be fairly easy. Okay, it's not as easy as it initially seems. But yeah, if you do have any questions, do drop me them, and I will get to yours in just a moment. So yeah, do drop them if you wish. Just going to change the thumbnail for the stream and type in the code for it, which is over here. Yep, so yeah, the thumbnail's coming on now, and that's basically the video set up. Just need to write in the description, which is going to be fairly easy, and then we'll crack on with this one, analysing what we're going to be seeing into the last few moments of market close, because it is going to be a tight one today, with, like you said, quite a few of those options being possibly in the money at 23. Is it going to be enough to mean anything as far as upwards price momentum is concerned? I don't really think so, but it is still notable and worthwhile. We're just going to restart that page as well to get rid of that ad. And here we go. So we can have a look at this one. I know why it keeps coming up with AMC USD, but we'll bring it in to the usual form, and there we go. That's our normal chart setup. I'm just going to type in our description as I said. Okay, so brilliant stuff, and the stream is fully set up. Just going to go onto the additional screen, which allows me to read your messages, see who's on the stream, see if we have anybody, and see what anybody is saying. So 6 viewers right now, brilliant. Again, do drop me a comment, and yes, we actually have one comment already. It's from Joseph P. Just going to read that one out, and it says, do you think that the hedge funds are trying to get apes' hopes up? Honestly, I'm going to say yeah with that one. I think it is pretty much always the case. You know, when it comes to AMC, we basically know what we are onto. And the fact that we are likely to win, however, it doesn't stop them from trying to pull out every trick in the book, simply due to the fact that they pretty much have to at this point. They don't have much of an option, because if we don't sell, they have to cover. And as I have said yesterday, if you put yourself in the shoes of the hedge funds, they don't really want to cover, because, well, why would they? It's going to cost them a lot of money, and it could actually send them out of business. And I did speak about this one briefly yesterday, the price action moving down over time. I think that is possibly another trick, in the sense that I guess people believing that the price action is naturally moving down and may persuade them to sell. Now, is that going to happen? I don't think so, but I think it is something that they could be planning on and trying to do as well. Yes, the screen does appear to be working fairly perfectly. And we're going to crack on with this one fully now. So yeah, AMC, we're coming up to, let's have a look at the time. Yeah, we got about 10 minutes to go. And we're starting to find this nice bottom down here, which is perfect. You'll see that bottom price being at about 22.25. That's most recently on the 15-minute chart, which is perfect. We have had that dip lower than that a bit more recently, but so far the price isn't looking too bad. Coming into the 1-minute chart, we'll have a look at that too. That bottom is also down here. The most recent one that we're finding is around 22.57, so honestly not too bad. More recently than that though, we're starting to find this level where we've been bottoming out between about 22.87 all the way up to this level up at about 22.92. So 22.92 is a level that we have found a bottom at many times before, and if we have a look at where those times were, so previously it worked as a bit of a resistance level, I would say is over here, where it's worked as a little bit of resistance, and here we're finding it as more of a support. You'll see down here, same thing to be said for here, and there we go. And as far as those breakout levels come out, we are obviously looking to push above. It's going to be about 23, so not too long to go. We do still have the post market that'll be interesting to watch again, but we're seeing that big candle coming up now to 23. Again, the next 10 minutes going to be relatively tense, seeing if we can remain above 23. Now, the reason why we want to remain above 23, in my opinion, if you are joining us for the first time just here, is going to be because when we have a look at our options over here, now these are coming from the data on bar chart, our options for 23 are quite high, to be honest. They are about 23k, so 23.5 thousand if we can get up to the price of 23. So Joseph P again, I'm ready to die with my shares, mate, and I plan on dying of old age. completely agree. It can take as long as it takes. I've said this before. It is about statistical probabilities, and I think when it comes to that sort of data, AMC is likely to squeeze. You know, they can't hide this one for too long, in my opinion, and I think the longer they leave it, the worse it's going to get, because as I mentioned in yesterday's stream, if you did join us for that, it means that people have time to accumulate more shares, but more crucially, people have time to work on their mental strategy, and that is something that we are doing as a community. We're getting stronger and stronger. Data becoming more accessible to everybody. And I think that is really going to help us, but it's going to hurt hedge funds more. Because if they'd have covered at the price of $2, if they'd have covered at the price of $5, $10, $15 even, they would have had less of a problem. And I think where we are now, even if the price runs down to 15 again, and I know that may sound extremely bearish, but I'm not bearish in AMC, I am bullish. But even if the price was to run down to 15 again, they're still going to be in a worse place than where they were the first time, because now people have had more of an opportunity to accumulate their shares. So more, potentially more fake shares will be out there, meaning that more shares will need to be covered back, and that really could work as a problem for the hedge funds. If they do work in this one, I absolutely agree, says Joseph P. They can't hide it anymore. No, of course they can't hide it anymore. I did also mention this one. I spoke about a few of these topics yesterday, but this is not the 1950s anymore. People have access to data on Twitter, Reddit, even on sources like Barchart, Ortex, and I know some people believe the data from stuff like Ortex and Fintel may be a bit skewed, but what it says is, we don't have to rely on the mainstream media anymore. We have this data accessible to us in multiple sources. We can find it out. So whilst the price action may lie to us, the actual things going on behind the scenes are still easy for anybody to find out, and it's becoming easier as time does go on. And I can see that we have a few more viewers. If you guys want to drop some comments, questions, anything like that, do go ahead and do that, because I want to hear what you all have to say. And I know I said that this is AMC and market close. It doesn't mean specifically AMC. We can have a look at other stocks if you wish. We can have a look at crypto. I've got some charts up for that. So anything that you want to see, I will probably cover it in this stream. It's not going to be too long. It's going to be, about an hour, maybe less. I just want to cover everything that's going on for AMC, both in the market close period and also into the post-market, because if you were joining us yesterday for the later part of that stream, we found some really interesting stuff going on in post-market. And I know it got a lot of people really excited. It got me really excited, but as I said, I'm not too bothered about what happens in the short term. The price can fluctuate by 10-15%. That is not a lot. We want to see those moves of 100% or more, and that's when we get the MOAS. Joseph P hopes that the price goes down to 15 so he can buy a ton more. Completely agree. I have some money on the side ready for just that instance if it does happen. As I have said in my videos, if you do watch them, I am bullish on AMC. I'm very bullish on this stock, but I think we are probably going to see some more downtrend before we actually get the big rip. And that's not bad. I know people from different forums, different channels, where they are willing to put down the whole of their mortgage or their house on AMC if the price drops much lower. And whilst that may not be the best idea, I do say manage your risk appropriately, but if that's what they wish to do, it shows a very strong sentiment. So is the ape community still there? Of course it is. It's getting stronger by the day. We should remember that. And coming into the last few moments right now, we have 5 minutes to go. You'll see the chart over here. We've seen that big candle down, now another candle up, trying to break past. It's going to be, in my opinion, $22.98. So basically into $23. We're going to try break through to $23 for market close. That's going to be our target in my eyes. It's not too far away, but we do want to remain above that point. And with the manipulation that goes on with AMC, are we going to be able to do it? It's hard to say. It really is. It's absolutely possible that they could push this one down, but it doesn't matter too much, as the options that we have at 23, it's not bad. It's not bad data at all. We've got about 23.8k, as I said, something like that. And that is going to be a big thing for these people who have options, and the data is now changed to 24.4. So yeah, a lot of options are in the money there. So if we can get up there, that would be perfect. But really, it's not too big of a deal. It's not going to cause a gamma squeeze, in my opinion, or anything like that. So it isn't really worth mentioning. Now, when things are going to start to get interesting with AMC, in my opinion, is when we start to get to the point where, okay, we're dealing with the same scenario day after day after day, but at some point they are going to fold, in my opinion. That's the way I can see it happening. I've been here for a year. I've seen the whole cycle. I've been quite optimistic that some legislation changes or rule changes from the SEC would come into force. Well, so far that doesn't appear to be the case. I'm just looking for a point where something happens, whether it be market crash or something else, which means margin calls may be due in, which is going to result in the eventuality of hedge funds not being able to hold on to their AMC positions anymore. And what happened yesterday into after hours, by the way, it got a lot of people wondering why we saw that big move up. Because if you did join us for that session, you will know it was completely unnatural momentum. Big pushes up, followed by just as equally big, if not steeper, pushes down. That is not what you would expect for a stock, moving in a normal pattern. It's not the usual pattern that we would expect. So what was that all about? Some people think it was things like failure to deliver being covered to an extent, but that is only opinion based. I will also be browsing through Reddit for you guys. As I said yesterday, we had difficulty filling the air. I want to get some more content for you guys, on the screens so that you have more to look at, but also talk through stuff as well. So if you are joining us for the first time, as I assume a lot of you will be, thank you for joining us. Welcome here. Make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Because we are going to be doing this live streaming a lot more often now, actually, I do think, into the next week and into 2022. Once more, if there's anything else that you want us to look at outside of AMC, we can do that as well. Just drop me a comment and we will have a look into it. So some good DD that I'm finding here on Reddit. This was posted 9 hours ago from user uresident_piccolo866. And I may talk about this one in a video very soon. It speaks about hedge funds could be letting the price rip back up to the 70s again to give people a chance to sell that have been in the red for a while. And I actually found this post earlier this morning. What's up, Future Whale? It's nice to have you in the stream. But yes, I found this post earlier this morning and I was thinking about publishing a video on it. I may do it later tonight or into tomorrow. And I think there is really some truth in that. As I said yesterday, trading it's mostly emotional, so they're going to have to play on our emotions to get us to sell. Will that work? It's probably unlikely. People are making a joke about the fact that the buy button was hidden quite a while ago, and now they're trying to hide the sell button, as in the apes are hiding the sell button by just not selling their shares. And that is where the pain is going to come, because if they're going to manipulate, fair enough. But guess what? If those tactics don't work and people just hold, where do we go from there? So we have up the Yahoo Finance chart and we can have a look at a few of the indicators on there. If there's any indicators that you want to look at, again, shout it out in the stream. More than happy to look at anything for you guys. Same can be said for different stocks and cryptos. Shout out some names. I will have a look at them for you. Just bringing up some indicators that I like to look at for AMC, because I do find some of them interesting to look at the trends. So one that I like is the RSI. I also like to have a look at the MACD. Sometimes I do find it interesting to actually have a look at the Bollinger Bands. That may be interesting for today, as we haven't really seen too much movement, and they are becoming tighter and tighter, which would indicate that we would expect some moves. So we're starting to potentially break out of that higher level at 23. But one thing that I want to highlight on this chart, which is a 5-day, and if I just draw a line up here to where we are seeing the price action right now, we're seeing this 23 level, and you can see the line all the way across the screen. Look at the difficulty that we are having in the past 2 or 3 days breaking above this level of 23. Yeah, it's ripped above it for this morning, but as soon as it's done that, it's come back down real quick. So a lot of difficulty breaking past 23. What is that all about? I want to hear your opinions on that in the comments. I think a lot of it could have something to do with options, because as I said, options in the money for $23. We're looking at an option figure of about 24.5k almost. So you can understand how it may be beneficial to push the number below that price point before the options expire, which is of course going to be today on Friday. Now looking a bit at some of these other options, not too much to report on. Data here, by the way, is coming from bar charts, so if you have other sources, your figures may be slightly different, but this is the data that we have over here. And what we're seeing is down to 22. Not too much to report on there. Small number of options, really. We're looking at options figures. If we have a look at about 6,200, not too high volume at all. Coming down below that is barely even worth mentioning. We're looking at figures like 500, 600, 62, really low figures down there. And if we come up to the high side on this, coming up to 32 and above, or below, sorry, 32 and below, also quite high figures. So I think a lot of people were expecting this to be the bottom for AMC this week. I said personally for myself, I was looking at a bottom of 19. I know that sounds a bit bearish, but I do prefer to look on the lower side, so I am less disappointed if bad things do happen. But yeah, I am still bullish on this one, so do remember that. But yeah, I was expecting us to push a bit lower, but the fact that hasn't happened is good, and I'm happy to see that. So yeah, the figures that we're seeing for these higher options, we usually see key ones like 25, 30 having big figures. Somewhat true for this week as well. Looking at figures out here for numbers like 29 up to 30. So 30 is about 9k. 25 is a big one, as you would expect, because it's not too unbelievable that this could have ran to 25 this week. So 25 big figures relatively, and we're looking at 26k. But really our big options figures are at 23, 24 and 25. So they're the biggest figures that I'm seeing down here from the data, which as I said is from bar charts. Once more, if you're just joining the stream for the first time, if you're just seeing us on the channel for the first time, drop us a like, do subscribe. I want to hear what you have to say, what you want us to look at, because I'm more than happy to look at other things other than AMC. So do drop me some comments below, and also tell me if the stream quality is okay. I do hope it is. It seems okay to me, but yeah, just drop me a comment to tell me that the stream quality is good or okay. If it does appear to be the case from your end, it would be appreciated. So, getting back to where we are, I think it's also good to have a look on Untitled Chapter, but just before we do, let's actually look at what we're seeing now that the market has shut. So we have the complete trend for the entire day now, with AMC, with the market now being shut, of course. One thing that's apparent is, yeah, we are still remaining okay, managed to remain above 23, I believe it is, so it looks like we closed on 23.11. This is what we have from Yahoo Finance. Just going to recheck that over on TradingView, and they're showing us similar figures, relatively similar at 23. So perhaps we did close quite close to 23, perhaps even on it. And if that is the case, good stuff. We probably have got those options in the money, which would be nice to have. And yes, the complete trend, well, the trend is complete for the day with AMC, which is good. I'm just going to check the stream quality again to see how we're doing for this one, and seeing if it looks alright. So yeah, the stream quality seems okay. Right, I see we have some issues with the mic. So issues with the mic is something that I'm picking up. I'll see if I can do anything to sort that out real quick, and then we'll get back on with the stream. So we'll sort these issues with the mic. Yeah, the sound does seem to be like coming out from two different sources, so just going to fix that real quick, and then we'll get back on with the stream. So this is going to be probably quite difficult. If you did join us yesterday, you'll know we had a lot of difficulty with configuring the stream, so that's something that we're going to have to work on today. See if that will do anything, and if you do have any tips on this, drop me any below. Just trying to configure that sound to make sure it is fairly okay. So I see that we have like two sources of audio coming through. It should only be one of these, so I think I'll remove this one, see if that makes any difference, and see what the actual like stock audio quality is like with this device. should be fairly okay, and that's something that I will also refine for the next stream, so I'll just make sure it is okay. Right, that stream quality sounds pretty fine. So we've kind of got rid of that dual sound. I'll just check if this microphone is working. I'm not sure if it is coming through the mic rather than coming through the actual device audio stream, but I'll just double check that whilst we go on. Yeah, so it does appear to be coming through the mic audio, which is pretty good. So we'll get back to this and we'll have a look at where we are with AMC. And I was just highlighting, for those of you who have joined us, the fact that we are managing to actually remain, or at least appear to remain, above 23. Now this is good for options, as I said earlier on, because if we can remain above 23, we're looking at options figures in the money being about 24k, which is going to be fairly good. Is it enough to trigger a gamma squeeze? Probably not in my opinion, but that is just my belief. Now we're going to come out to the Market Watch chart, because this actually allows us to view the after hours and what we're seeing into those. So if you remember, it was like 10-15 minutes into after hours in our last stream where we saw that massive push up in price. I'm not expecting anything like that for today, but who knows, I might actually be wrong and we might see something like that. We'll just have to see what actually occurs in the process of the next few minutes. Now, this one's not going to be too long. We're not going to be streaming for too long at all, but long enough to uncover a bit of what's going on and have a look at the price action that we are seeing throughout the day. Because if you have noticed the action through today, it seemed very questionable, in my opinion at least. We're just seeing this this strong downtick really from the highs of the day, coming down in price consecutively, and it does seem a little bit dodgy if you ask me. So I do want to hear your opinions in the comments, like I said. Drop me one if you wish to. I'm willing to look at anything. Stocks, crypto, we've got all the charts up, AMC, DD and that sort of thing. Hopefully I'll get one more video at you guys tonight, maybe even two. So that will be coming when the stream does end. But right now we're just looking at what we're seeing unfolding before our eyes. Not too interesting as far as today has been, but it is good that we've managed to come back from those bottoms that we saw as far as price action is concerned. And we appear to have actually had a fairly okay day, which is good. So what do you think to AMC? And have you done anything with options this week? I want to know what you have done with options if you have, because that is also an interesting topic to speak about. Because a lot of good options are potentially in the money for this week, depending on where we are going to end up. Again, feel free to share the stream as well if you wish. I don't think these really get pushed out enough by like the YouTube algorithm. I'm not too sure if notifications get sent out for these, which is a bit of a shame. But hopefully those of you who have joined us have managed to find it with ease. It should have been relatively easy, but I'm not too sure how they have gone on to push it. Yeah, I see on my device over here for our Discord, one of the bots has kind of stopped working, which is unfortunate. I'll get that one fixed. And if you are joining us from Discord, welcome to you as well. Again, we're more than happy to talk about all sorts of things here. The price action of AMC today, in the past week, in the past few weeks, and all that sort of stuff. All of the DD videos will be coming out throughout tomorrow as well, so you have that to look forwards to, because the weekend is really good time to catch up on some DD. Some of it we don't really have the time to cover in the week, simply due to the nature of how things work, in the sense of in the week we're trying to cover all of the hottest, most recent issues, whereas in the weekend markets aren't trading. We have the time to look at that extra stuff as well. So I'm just going to share this link to the stream with a few other sources as well, so that more people can get access to it, because I think it has been quite difficult to actually find the stream today. I'm not too sure as to why. Just going to also refine the settings, but keep telling me your opinions on AMC, because it is something that I want to hear. We'll have a quick look at the crypto market as well whilst we are waiting, and we're going to see that the crypto market for today is looking a bit red again, actually. If you joined us yesterday, it was looking massively red. Same can be said for the majority of it today. It just appears to be sliding down more and more. And some do believe actually that this is in relation to AMC. What are your thoughts on that idea as well? Do you think it is related? It's an interesting theory in the sense that some people believe that hedge funds are selling off to potentially stay afloat with the whole situation regarding AMC and GME. Do you think that is the case? Do you think that is why we are going down in the crypto market, or do you think it is for other reasons? I want to hear what you have to say. Keep dropping your opinions as I do go on to share these links with wider sources. So I'm going to send it out on Twitter. Just going to let our audience know that we are live. And yeah, the past week for AMC really, it's been quite mixed, but we're continuously seeing this downtrend now. We've not really had many green days at all over here, which is really, really quite strange. Not seeing too much move to the upside really very recently. And I think as we disclosed in one of our earlier videos, I think it is true that if this was going on with some more mainstream stocks, if you will, that people take a little bit more seriously, I think serious questions would be asked. And going back to that after hours chart for where we are, it's a mixed story. Right now we're seeing a little tiny bit of an uptick, only about 5 cents, so not too noticeable, not really even worth mentioning. But a little bit of an uptick there. What will it mean for us in this after hours session? I want to hear what you have to say in the comments. But we are trying to remain above 23 for the after hours as well. And going into next week, I think it is going to be a case of, are we going to see more of that downtrend continue? Or are we actually going to see a bit of a reversal in trend? Because 23 has been a level where we are having difficulty breaking out of. Not too important in my opinion, but we do appear to be finding a nice base just above, I would say, 2250. So we could be sat in this channel for some time now, as we have seen in literally the past 2 days. We've had only one breakout of this channel. What's going to come after this? Are we going to see more push up, or are we going to start to see that push down continue? Just going to, as I said, write this one out on Twitter. And going back to that chart for the after hours, which is what we're going to be highlighting now for a little while before we do get on to looking at some of the DD. Not looking too bad again, just quite flat. And after hours for AMC is usually quite flat, quite unusually flat for the markets. Like in the past 5 or 6 months, after hours for the stock has been notoriously flat, which is strange. But somebody did point out the other day how the last time that we had our after hours like yesterday, we did have quite a decent run up relatively soon afterwards. So will that happen here? I don't know, but I do want to hear what you have to say. And we'll have a look at how the wider markets have performed as well in this stream. We're going to have a look at a few of these if you are interested. US markets highlighted for us kindly here. And these throughout the day are not doing too well, to be honest. They're all starting to fall. A few of our assets are remaining green, gold, basically neutral. But yeah, Dow is down, S&P is down as well, Nasdaq is also down, and these are not down too much. Like, we've seen a lot worse recently, but you know, they are still falling, which is something that we are kind of used to over the past few weeks, and especially over the past week. We've seen some really red days, like yesterday that was really red for this one, as I did mention in that stream. But the question is, really, where do we go in the wider market? Because some people are thinking that a market crash is going to be coming quite soon. Will that be the case? And will it actually go on to affect AMC? It is absolutely possible. But do tell me your opinions as we go on. just tweeting that out right now. It's quite hard to tweet and type, but we are getting there as we go on. And if you do want to see more streams, I'm more than happy to stream throughout the entirety of the day. We can do that more and more if you do wish, but it won't happen every single day. It will just be a more infrequent thing. But morning streams and evening streams is more likely. It's something that I can do for you if you do wish to see it. Okay, so the tweet is getting sent out now, and if you don't already, you can follow us on Twitter. It's at N2S Finance, the same as it is here on YouTube. You can join us on Discord. Link for the Discord should be down in the comments. So yeah, feel free to join us on Discord. We talk about all sorts of stuff, and you can just at me, and I will be with it. I'll get back to you guys basically as soon as I can. So feel free to do that if you wish, and I will get back to you. But really good stuff that we're seeing today with AMC in the sense that we haven't dropped any lower. We want to remain as high as possible into next week as well. Some people think that the bottom could only just be starting in the sense that we are looking to fall lower. Others think that this is going to be the start of a turnaround, and I would love that to be the case. But as I have said before, I'm not pinning my hopes on it basically because it could go either way. I am personally prepared for more of a drop, and if that is what we see, fair enough. That's not too bad because we are all prepared for it. But I do say I personally like to prepare for the worst, just in the eventuality that it may happen. And if you're joining us now from Twitter or other sources, welcome to you. We are going to be doing a lot more streaming as time goes on. Just going to share this live link now on Discord as well. And you guys can feel free to be interactive at any point throughout the stream. The more you guys interact, the better it will be basically, because I can do what you wish to see, and we can talk about all different topics from AMC to the wider market. As I said, this is AMC and market close, not one or the other. We have been talking about AMC so far, but we've got crypto charts up. We can look at other stocks and all that sort of stuff in the video. So if you do want to see it, drop me a comment and I will get back to you as soon as I see it. Now, really where we are with AMC in the past month, and this is where things get interesting, we're coming to a point now where AMC is almost oversold. We're looking at figures on the RSI at 34, so we're really getting down there as far as the lows are concerned. We want this to possibly pick itself up because it is starting to look really questionable. And the volume that we have seen today, it's not particularly bad actually. We're seeing bullish volume come back in, and the volume figure is at 49 million according to Yahoo Finance. But once more, it is still actually quite high in my belief, because as I always say, if the volume of AMC is sat where it is, around this point of 50 million consecutively, it has been for yesterday, and even the prior date was at 45. So if the volume is so high, what does that mean? It usually means that people are buying the stock and people are selling the stock. Well, we assume that not many people are actually selling the stock with AMC, so what is going on over there? I want to hear your opinions as we go through the stream. And just going back to that point, as I mentioned, on the wider markets, if we can, that's going to be coming from this chart over here. Highlight a few of our major indices. We're looking at drops on the Dow, drops on the S&P. They're all following a somewhat similar trend, and you can see how it could have possibly been worse for a few of these. They had a short period of time from about 12 p.m, perhaps even 11:30, where they were able to pick themselves back up for a little bit, but it didn't last too long, and they did go on to drop after that time period. So bearish things in the market again for today. Crypto on that market as well is taking a big nosedive. A little bit of consolidation, arguably starting with Bitcoin, but I wouldn't count on it as of yet. I just wonder where we are going to go with the entire crypto market and with the entire stock market as a whole. It is an interesting question and it is an interesting topic. Some people are speculating that 2022 and the early part of it will be the year and the period for a market crash. So what do you think? Tell me your opinions on a market crash into 2022. Now, going back to Reddit, we'll have a look for some more good DD over there. And it is, of course, not in short supply. And this is actually something that I was trying to mention in one of our videos earlier on, is showing the two charts. And if we have a look at the actual image, these are the charts for, I believe it is GameStop and also AMC. So just to refresh the page quickly, what this is trying to highlight is the pattern for these is, or at least has been, somewhat similar for today and actually in after hours yesterday. So the whole idea and the whole narrative that's being kind of pushed now, if you will, is that the after hours run up for AMC was due to the fact that GameStop had good news. And really GameStop did have that good news, as you know, but why would that go on to affect AMC? They're completely unrelated in sector. There's no reason why AMC should have pushed up. And we're just going to continue to configure the stream and streamline it, if you will, as we go on to make it look better, to make it better and better. Yesterday's stream was an absolute mess. Yes, this one is not all the way there, but we're getting there slowly. And I do believe that we are improving. Yeah, so just in the process of refining the stream, making it a lot better. And I also want to know what your opinions are on streams as a whole. Do you think streams are worth it, or would you prefer more videos rather than streams? I want to hear what you have to say on that. We'll have a look at some of these other topics that we have over here. But yeah, the run-up that we had yesterday with AMC and the fact that it's apparently related to GameStop, I do find it hard to believe. Just my opinion, but there you go. And what are your opinions on it? That will also be interesting to hear. So more of you guys should drop comments if you are watching the stream, because the more of you that drop comments, the more, basically the more fun we can have with the stream and the more interaction we will have with the stream as well. Coming out to Stonko Tracker, which is also a great source for info, depending on what you are looking at. We have some good data for this too. So our data from Stonko Tracker is showing us what we're seeing for calls in the money at certain prices and that sort of thing. Trading volume is also going to be good to look at. And we get a breakdown, consecutively of what we're seeing for trading volume. And it is always relatively high. When we have figures like this for trading volume, as I have said, when the float of this stock is being passed over so many times, it kind of implies that people are selling their shares and new people are buying them back. Well, we know that isn't the case. People aren't really selling their shares. So why is the float being traded so many times over? It just doesn't make sense. And that is the figures that we had for 2021, by the way, found by the apes. We're not in the time anymore where people, especially the mainstream media, can just go on to manipulate these figures like they once could. Nowadays, people have access to these figures quite widely, so it's not really going to work when they do try and skew this data. So more and more people are joining us. Make sure to say hi if you're here for the first time. I do want to hear what you have to say, what your opinions are on AMC, and where you think we are going into next week. Honestly, I think next week is going to be sort of crucial to the short-term price action with AMC. Now, long-term, where price action is concerned, I'm not too bothered about those big moves to the upside or downside. I'm here for the MOAS, as most of you are. But before we actually get the MOAS, I think we're going to have to face some difficulty, and I don't think that's bad. We could see further pushes downwards, but the chart does also indicate on the 1 month that we're finding this bottom now around 22, and we're starting to bounce off that. So will it remain to be true that we're finding a bottom at 22? Are we going to bounce off it? And are we going to see another push up? So this really could take us to a new level now. We could bounce off this because this level around 22, potentially even at 22.75, somewhere around there, it has worked for us in the past. We've seen this as a support level a few times actually when we have a look back. So we saw it as a support arguably back here around this similar level between that and 22. So hopefully that can hold up again. If that is the case, into next week we're looking at a bit more of a push up in my opinion. And if we don't manage to remain at this level or manage to push on past this level, we are possibly looking to go back down. That's not too concerning in my opinion, but it is something that we could potentially have to look for into the next week. So have your thoughts in a place which is going to allow you to be stable, because as we have disclosed many times, as we have found out now, a lot of trading with any stock is emotions based. So keep your emotions steady and you will probably be fine with AMC, but it is a balancing act. Most people now are immune to the dips, and it really is a stupid tactic now, because by dipping it lower and lower, people are just going to become more comfortable with the price drops over time. So I think by dropping this one over time, you're just making people more immune, which is probably the absolute opposite of what the hedgers are trying to actually do. But they are in a place right now where they have to work this one out. They have to work out how they can get us to sell. And of course, they don't want to cover, so they're going to try to do that to the best of their ability. The unfortunate thing for them is their ability isn't really good enough anymore, and they cannot skew it at this point. And it really is unfortunate for them as well, because if they had have just let this one run at a price of, I don't know, $10, $2, $15, anywhere in that range, 15 and down, if they'd have let it run in that time period, people would have just forgot about this stock and moved on. But by leaving it over time, consecutively, you have just given us the opportunity to do more and more research. And that has allowed us to uncover more and more manipulation, which has basically made the whole movement stronger, because now we know it's not the case that we are just gambling. We know that there is some actual theory and some thesis behind what we are thinking, and some actual logical truths behind it as well. And if you haven't seen our video already from earlier today, do make sure to check that one out too. I'm sure you guys may enjoy it. And going back to what we're seeing on Stonko Tracker. This is also really good data, by the way. If you don't use Stonko Tracker, I would recommend having a look at it. Some people are a bit skeptical as to all of the data right now, and that's fair enough. When we're seeing all of these glitches from different sources, it is becoming questionable, but we just have to look at what we can find and infer to the best of our ability what may be going on. Anyway, coming down here, the trading volume throughout the day is what we can have a look at. Is split up into 30-minute segments. As I have said, relatively unusual. Key thing to point out for me is going to be the morning. We're seeing very high trading volume in the morning, and this actually started to die off kind of for the rest of the day. So morning from 9:30 through till about 10 o'clock, 10:30, very high volume, for it to start to drop away towards the end of the day. So compare the first 30-minute block to the last 30-minute block, and we're looking at figures in the first one at 13 million. Come out to the later one, and we're looking at figures just below 4 million. So some big differences there. Volume obviously drying up towards the end of the day, but still not looking too bad. Why is this? Why was volume so high in the morning? I want your opinions. And as for the after hours run up that we saw yesterday, it was just quite peculiar. Looking at what the after hours is doing today, nothing too special. Looked like we just seen another slow, flat after hours where not much happens. You will know that is something that we're used to right now with AMC. We don't really expect too much for the after hours, but it is something which is probably playing on a lot of people's minds after what we saw yesterday in that session. So do please interact with the stream if you are here. I do want to hear your opinions. I want to hear everything that you have to say. on this topic. It would be interesting. It will be fun to hear all that sort of stuff. So do go on to drop a comment, and you will help the stream to become more lively, because right now it is just like I am talking to myself. So the more of you that engage, the better it will be for the stream. If you have any queries, as I have said before, I'm not a professional. This is all just my opinion, but I can answer them to the best of my ability, and do my best on that front as well. So if you have any questions, drop them. And also, as I said, if you have any topics that you want to be looking at, whether it be other stocks, cryptos, that's what we're here for. We're here to look at all that sort of content. So drop me a comment if you want to see anything else, anything specifically unrelated to AMC, perhaps in a different category, whether it be crypto, something else, or just other topics and other questions on the wider market. Because the health of the wider market is something which a lot of people are wondering about right now. It does seem to be quite weak, to be honest, for some fair reasons, don't get me wrong, but we're just waiting to see if that continues again into next week. So this week has been the first of the trading week of the year. So, not too much really happened, but it has been an interesting game to kind of see where we are going into 2022. Again, with AMC specifically, people are kind of expecting big things for the end of the month, because when we had a look at the options data previously in a video quite a while ago, we did see some fairly interesting things for options towards the end of the month. So will that go on to mean that we're going to have a big run up at the end? Who knows? Failure to deliver figures for AMC, also a really interesting topic to touch upon, as these figures are really extreme. We already know that AMC has extremely high failure to delivers. If you compare this to stocks like Apple, compare it to stocks like Amazon, these figures are unusually high. And it does also get you thinking as to why. As you will know, a failure to deliver is basically a share that they have shorted but haven't really located yet. And the question is, why have they not located it? In my opinion, failure to delivers are a little bit wrong, as if you cannot find the share, why can you just get away with listing it as a failure to deliver? It is a topic to kind of touch upon. What do you guys think to failure to delivers as well? If you are joining us for the first time, as I can see some of you are, do drop me a comment, because the entirety of the stream is based on interaction. If you guys can interact, we can talk about more interesting stuff. Whereas if you guys just sit there, I can still uncover some stuff, but it's more like a video, and it kind of takes away the purpose of streaming. Whereas if you guys do talk on the stream, we can have that engaged discussion about those interesting topics regarding AMC. And I'm just checking now, it's the second stream that we have done ever, so we're very, very early into the streaming days. I'm just checking if streaming is worthwhile. I'll probably keep streaming for next week as well. I'm going to try configure what we're doing with time, because perhaps time isn't the best for streaming right now. With the market being shut, maybe people are not as interested. But throughout next week, I'm going to try free up that time, get some time to stream when... get that time to stream when the market is open. They will never pay the FTD only penalty, says Caster King. Honestly, I think that is possibly true. Unless they are forced to, they're just going to try to do everything that they can. They're not even bothered about hiding this anymore. It's something that just happens blatantly in the open. So yeah, they're going to try everything that they can, in my opinion, to just keep this manipulation going, keep them winning, because deep down, we all know that we are probably winning, but on the surface of it, it seems to people who are not in the movement, i.e. the mainstream media, it seems like we're losing big because the price is coming down, but as we know, the price can be manipulated, the data behind it really cannot. I mean, it can be manipulated, but nowadays it can be found out. So it's just not going to work. But yeah, they are going to try everything that they can. So honestly, I wouldn't put anything like that past them. Any more people with any more ideas to share, any more questions, do drop them. Again, the stream is all about you guys interacting, sharing your opinions and that sort of stuff. That's what I want to hear in the stream. I'm just going to be looking at some of the comments behind the scenes as well, because I know you guys can see what we're looking at on the screen, but I do actually have two screens here, and one of them is basically displaying all of the stream data, and one of them is displaying all of the data that we're seeing on stream, as in what we're seeing on your screen rather. So yeah, where we are with AMC after hours so far, volume for this period is going to be sat at about 150k, not particularly high. When we started big run up yesterday, after hours volume was about 1 million, but after hours volume is never really too high because most retail don't have access to after hours, and obviously if retail don't have access to it, it's probably not going to see high volume because retail kind of control this movement. They buy, they don't really sell, but you know, they are responsible for buying and selling. So the volume for after hours would be expected to be relatively low, even with the manipulation that we are seeing, because they are going to want to make this one believable, or at least as believable as they can. And I'm also just checking some of these statistics behind the screen. In the after hours, a key level that we're having difficulty past. Same thing for the entire day though. The level of difficulty is at 23. So we're trying to push past 23, as we have been for a while. But yeah, 23, trying to get past that one in the after hours. And I think that is almost us coming to the end of the stream now. We've done about an hour. I understand that this time schedule for the stream may not be the best. Perhaps going through the day is a better idea. Market open all the way through to market close. Do drop me a comment right now, please, if you want to see that open till close. But I think doing this more throughout the time when the market is open is probably a better bet. Also, any other areas for improvement, I'm more than happy to take comments on them, because that's all that we're trying to do. We're trying to improve the stream quality, and make it better as we go on. As far as crypto is concerned, we've seen that nosedive, as I mentioned. We have a few more likes. Yes, I'm really seeing that what I'm filming is obviously a little bit behind what I'm actually talking about, so do bear with it and it will catch up. But yeah, we are not doing too badly for today's stream. If you did join us for yesterday's, it is still on the channel. It was an absolute mess, but this stream, honestly, it's not too bad, in my opinion. As far as quality goes, I think we're going alright, which is good. Managed to get the full screen issue fixed as well, if you remember that one from yesterday. But really, into the rest of this evening, because the market has just closed like 40 minutes ago now, I'm contemplating maybe making 1 or 2 more videos. Yeah, and I'm just looking through the comments that we're having on those videos. And we also have a comment from another messenger, which is the Royal Stephen. I'm going to read that as, why is the price $22.99 when we're showing $23.11? Very good question, the Real Stephen. And the simple answer for that is because what we have access to here, and it is available to the public, by the way, what we have access to here is the after hours chart. So fair enough for myself, if we go over to just a standard Yahoo Finance chart, you're going to be seeing that this is also showing the price of $23.11. Scroll up here. Depending on which platform you use, you may get different figures, like $23.99 over here. But this is after hours data. So as you will know, after hours, we still trade. It's not available to most people, so most people can't trade in this period. But, you know, after hours data is still accessible. We can still see where the price is moving in after hours. We can still see volume. And if you do want to get this chart up for yourself, it's on Market Watch. They allow us to see the after hours They allow us to see the pre-hours in the morning. So it's kind of like all of the time that we are trading, that we're not really in the main hours. That's when we're trading over here on this chart. So if you're wondering why that is, there is your answer. I hope that did help you with your question. And I know that we managed to break above the price of 23, of course, for the actual close. But we're still having difficulty with it in after hours. So we're coming back down in after hours by a couple of cents. I mean, 23.11. I don't really think that's anything major. So we wanted to see a bigger push anyway. But yeah, we're coming down below that $23 mark in after hours so far. $22.99. We've been having difficulty $22.95. So in the 22.90s for after hours. But really, it has been difficult for the past 5 days. Yeah, I hope that answered your question, Stephen. And when we have a look there, was hoping for those $23 calls to be in the money. Honestly, if you did join us for the start of the stream, I said the exact same thing. Yes, okay, cross that off. Yeah, $23 calls in the money. Absolutely true. This data is coming from bar chart, and we can see that over here. We had about 29k now, which would have been in the money at 23. So it is still neck and neck in my opinion. We'll have to see what after hours does go on to do. Perhaps after hours can close above 23. It's not going to be that hard, is it? Because we're only on 22.99 right now, and we've got a while to go until US time of 8 p.m. So with it being about 3:30 right now, US time, I do believe, off the top of my head, you know, we've got a long time to go. So it could all change. So we got a bot there that we're going to remove in the chat. Just going to remove that. It's very annoying that we do get these bots coming in on the Discord, on the videos, but there you go, it's something that we unfortunately have to deal with. And again, any more questions now, do drop them. We are probably coming up to the later part of the stream, but I am quite enjoying the streaming. I know it's quite hectic, but it's not bad in my opinion. Throughout the session, the stream is getting more views. And I think what it's going to be about for the streaming, it's going to be about streaming in those peak hours. So right now, it's like 3:30 United States time. It's like 9 p.m. Actually coming up to 10 p.m. over here in the UK. People are probably doing other things. And of course, competition is a hard thing. We got a lot of other streams on the go. But I do believe that is the case, that some people will come here and watch a stream if we do it in the right hours. So maybe these after hours streams aren't the best, but it's something to start with. And actually, I think the low viewer numbers is actually fairly okay, because when we think about it, it allows us to go on to set the stream up okay. In the sense that prior to this, we had a really awful stream. The quality was bad, the screen size was off. In the earlier part of this stream, the audio wasn't really working right. So we managed to get all that stuff fixed, ready for when we go a bit more public with the stream, which is going to be next week, when we're filming, hopefully in those key market hours, where we're having that real, those real big moves in price action. And that's when we're going to have a lot more to talk about. Because fair enough, I can talk about this sort of stuff for a while with you guys right now, talk about after hours moves, but it's not, you can see by the chart, it's not as volatile as what we saw throughout the day. So market open to market close, that's probably a good bet to do some streaming. I think you guys may find that interesting as well. Anyway, after hours volume remaining low at 165k. After hours price action remaining low, looking to break above 23. Again, done that in the session. So something that we have seen, 23.11 is a figure that we got on Yahoo Finance. Definitely possible that can happen, not impossible. And the reason why we're looking for that, for those of you who may just be joining us, is going to be for those calls. So the calls and the money at 23, it's going to be about 30k. So about 30k calls on the money if we get up to 23. Can it happen? We'll just have to wait and see for the after hours to conclude. Many hours to go until after hours is done. We're not going to be filming for all of it. We're probably going to end the stream in like 10-15 minutes, probably less. But you do get an idea of what we're looking for. And the after hours is usually dead flat. Like, we've seen it even worse than this, where it just doesn't move at all. But after yesterday, people also have got their hopes up, in the sense of we had that big run up right about now. Actually, would have been about this time yesterday we had the big run up. People have their hopes whether that may happen again. When it comes to call options, by the way, or put options, as I usually say with them, I do think they carry a lot of risk. So if you are buying calls, puts, anything like that, be careful. And I am not a financial advisor, as you know, but I always do think it is your best bet to run with some safe ones. Like, people go for those ones less now than they did in the past, but people sometimes go for those ones at something like $50. For instance, when we're trading at 20 right now, people might go for 150. And, you know, if they do come into the money, you're going to get that massive profit. But really, putting a date on the MOAS like that is risky, and it probably will result in losses. So be cautious, be careful out there, and know what you're getting yourself into always. For me, I do prefer to buy the shares, just my opinion. Yeah, there are some ways that you can bet on this sort of thing, like calls and puts. We don't really have that here on most platforms in the UK, but we do have sorts of ways that you can bet on AMC. And for me, I do prefer to just buy the underlying shares. Just my opinion, of course, but that's just a way that I like to do it. I think it allows me to maximize the potential profits whilst minimizing the risk to the best of my ability. Because whilst a MOAS is likely, from a statistical standpoint, it is also true that AMC is a risky investment. And with an investment this risky, this volatile, the last thing that I want to do for myself in my personal strategy is to go in massive with those calls, with those puts, and end up losing 100% of my money when I could have just bought the shares and made a fair profit. I understand with the MOAS movement, some people here are really clever, so don't get me wrong, but I also understand some people are relatively new to the markets, and it is easy to make those mistakes, but you know, you do have to be careful with what options you go for, if that is something that you are into, if it's something that you're looking for. But as always, risk management is crucial. Risk management is key. Do it and you should be fairly okay. Once more, just my opinion and not financial advice. So it's been a nice little 1 hour stream right now. The viewer numbers haven't been too bad. Had about 100 viewers. Slightly less than yesterday. In this time period, we could have actually got more viewers by just filming the usual videos. But I think the concept of the stream is better than filming the videos because we managed to get that interaction on a one-to-one level immediately. So in the sense that you can ask me a question right now in the chat and I will get back to you this second, whereas, you know, when you come over to messaging, it's a little bit harder and it's a little bit more lengthy, whereas right now I can go into detail on what I'm trying to explain to you guys. Anyway, if you do have any last questions before we do conclude the stream, drop them in the next few minutes. I want to hear all of your opinions down below. Just also going to be answering some other questions that we have on Twitter and other platforms. If you don't already, do follow me on Twitter. It's at N2S Finance. And coming back to where the price action is with this one, not too much to report on since we last checked in on it, but really we're looking at prices remaining just below 23. We want to see the push above 23. It's ideal for those calls. Will it be the case? I don't know. I want to hear your opinions as we go on, as I did state. And of course, if you are not subscribed, remember, more good content is going to be coming at you tomorrow as we uncover more and more good DD. looking at all of the stuff that you guys should know. I like to bring you DD from different sources, whether it be from Reddit, Twitter, other sources as well. And the simple reason for that is because, there is a lot of good stuff out there. And some people say, well, if you're just sharing the content, that's not really too beneficial. Well, as long as it manages to get the message out there to more and more people, I think it is a job well served. Right, so I think that's not been a bad stream. It's been relatively okay. A few people gave it a like. We have some people still watching us, and to those people who are watching us, thank you very much. Do subscribe, of course, if you want to see us stream again. It's something that I'm going to be working on into the next week, so come Monday again, we will probably do some more streaming. But for right now, it's back to the usual content for both today and into the weekend, as we don't really have much to stream about. But thank you for joining me, guys. It's been nice to have this little chat with those of you who have interacted. And who knows, maybe into next week we will go on to do the full live stream for the whole session that the market is open. If you're interested in seeing a full market session, do drop me a comment either in the stream or on the latest video. I have actually put a poll out for it as well, so you can have a look on the poll what the results are. You can also change the results by commenting if enough of you guys do comment one particular option. But yeah, that is going to be coming at you again in the new week. So thank you for joining me for this stream. It's been nice to see how many of you have been here. I'll be back to see you all in another stream very soon. Again, just before we go, highlighting the price action right now, it's looking okay, just trying to break above 23 and remain there. Do you think it's going to happen? Of course, only time will tell, but I'll be back to see you guys again. So I'm just going to end off the stream right now.